Desmond here from Performance Destination. If you're looking to have your car tuned, whether it's on the dyno or remote, reach out to us and see what we can do for you. We meet the needs on all computer systems. Desmond Pierre again, another car getting tuned, another Evo 8. For what I do before I start tuning a car, I always bleed the coolant system. If there's air pockets in there, it may affect the AFR reading, it may affect the idle quality, the surging, all of that. So I kind of I bleed it, so this way I can have maintain a more consistent coolant pressure, more consistent coolant temperature, and also more consistent idle, so it's not surging, going up and down. Sometimes when there's air pockets in the system, it you can feel those air pockets depending on how the engine sounds. It'll kind of hover and up and down and kind of a slight little surge. And I just do this just for safety precaution, to make sure I'm always at good temperature, to make sure that I'm giving a customer a car back in their hands that it idles good, performs good, and it has a good temperature, because temperature controls the head gasket life, the motor life, everything. So I want to make sure everything is perfectly sound. So I always start off with a coolant pressure test, so I could do test for the bubbles to make sure everything else is going to be good, and make sure I can bleed the system. So I did some tuning on this car yesterday. I wanted for it to sit overnight. I left it on the dyno. I wanted to get it really cold so I can test the cold start, make sure it fires over perfectly fine, idles perfectly fine, and it just feels good, perfectly fine. The car has not been started up all day long, so it's dead cold right now. So we're gonna see what it do. All the way cold, completely cold, never been fired up. All right, let's see what it does. That's perfect. So it's not AFR, it's lambda, so that's pretty close to Stoich. So it's probably roughly around 13.7, 13.9 or so, almost 14. So what's going on is the customer originally, I didn't look at the boost controller, how he had it set up, but I started seeing the boost controller was set up the boost curve was getting really wiggly like that. His boost controller is wired for stock ECU. So using the front feed and the side feed, and then capping off the one, that's how you do it for stock ECU. Now this is on a standalone ECU. So you got to hook it up standalone, where this cap moves to the front, and then this fitting bar moves to the side, and then it tees into it has top port of the wastegate, bottom port, and then there's a T also that goes in for vacuum reference that has a T into it as well. But this is this boost controller was hooked up wrong, and this was giving me my my inconsistent curve. Every pull I did, AFRs, everything looked good, but the boost was not coming in properly. It's right here. So let's fix this, and then let's put it back on and let's see what it does. All right, boost controller is hooked up properly. We picked up some power, The best thing is, the last one was the orange line. You can see now the power band is linear now. It's not coming in wavy like it was doing before. Now it's nice and linear. Now it's time to build up on it, and so it can rip out even harder. Now we have something to work off of and go from there. All right. Let's see what this plug. I like it. Looks good. Nice little burn. Good timing. It's not aggressive. Perfect. I'm calling this done. Desmond here from Performance Destination. We had a good day today, good session. Car ran good, ran clean, good AFR, good response. The problem we was having was with the boost controller stuff was going on. It wasn't prompt properly to redo that. Now, towards the end of the session, he was missing his screw on top of his wastegate head. So what happens is you have ports on the side of your wastegate, and you have ports for the top hat of your wastegate. So there's two ports for the top hat wastegate. The top hat was having pressure applied to it on the side port, but on the top dead center of the hat, that was open. So he was missing the screw. So as I was trying to increase the boost to hold pressure, hold the wastegate shut, that center screw was leaking out the boost. So it was trying to apply it to hold the spring closed, but it was also leaking out. So it was kind of like balancing off and on like that. And it's also mimicking what it's doing on the graph as well. I kind of called the customer, kind of explained what's going on. He was like, I'm good with that. We can stop at that power level. I'm already looking to buy a bigger turbo. So he's gonna fix his wastegate situation, and he wants to bring it back and put a bigger turbo on it. But I feel like even though as is on this turbo, I think it's a 3076, and it's V-band, Garrett, tile exhaust housing, turbine housing. This spool's fast. You know, it made 466 foot-pounds of torque, and it spools like that. And it made right around 483 horsepower and 466 foot-pounds of torque. That's a really good pump gas street car where he wanted to be at. It's a built bottom end on 93 octane, where if we was to put that screw, or if he was to have it where the boost wouldn't bleed out of that screw, for boost control, as is, without touching anything on the map, this car probably would do upper to mid fives. Easy, like very easy. It's just as it's trying to apply that pressure and keep the gate closed, it's also leaking out of the top of the port, and it's not holding the correct pressure so we can make the boost number that we need. And you know, he said leave it at that. I'm gonna get that situated, and I want to put it on a bigger turbo so we can do E85. So right in the middle of me kind of explaining what's going on with his car and me telling him the things I found, he instantly was like, hey, I want to put a bigger turbo on there. So let's leave it like where it's at. So we're wrapping it up here. Car runs good, drives good, perfect idle quality. I fire it up on cold start. It just fires up immediately, comes to a good RPM target, and then it warms up and then it settles right back down to where it needs to at operating temperature. And that's what you need for a street car. Everything to work perfectly fine, operate perfectly fine, like if it was a stock car. It's a full standalone in this, but how I tune it is I want it to operate and feel the same exact way a stock car would feel, a stock calibration would feel, as in like the drivability wise. But when he floors it and gets on it, it's gonna have power, it's gonna get it, it's gonna get up and go. It's gonna feel really, really good. Even at this, the torque is what's really gonna move this and have him spooling and have that power come on really quick. And then, you know, we're gonna see what it's like on a bigger turbo when he swaps it out, and we go from there. If you too would like to work with me, just like how he did, you can reach me at 941-268-7493, or you can catch me on all platforms of social media at performance_destination. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, and like the video. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you would like to see next, and tell me what we can do to help serve you. All right, back the next day. I tuned the car last night, so I want to let it sit on the dyno. This way we can work the cold start, make sure everything is fully good the next day when it's like cold. We worked it last night, but I want to make sure it's consistent. The car's getting picked up today, so we'll see what the cold start's like and how it performs, how it behaves. All right. You already know. So let's see. Hop in. Turn the key on. Dead cold right there. Let's see what it does. Look at that. Perfect cold start. No hesitation, no fluctuation. On the first crank, nice hit.